Okay, Hannah, do you want us to get started and just?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and call us to order?
Okay. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order then. And Hannah, if you wouldn't mind, take roll.
Yep. Commissioners present in starting a quorum. Commissioner Blair, Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Nugent, Commissioner Lockhart, and Chair Bull.
Okay, thank you. This time we have set aside for comments from the public. They're allowed 3 minutes to speak on any topic not on the current agenda. Do we have anyone that would like to speak? Do you see a hand raised, Hannah?
Yes. Mr. Shoemaker, would you like to comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes,
Okay,
please
great.
state your name for the record.
David Shoemaker, proprietor of Let's Play Cafe. I'm just following up on the request I had about getting the historic main entertainment uses reestablished. I saw in the minutes from the last meeting that apparently that something had happened in that front, but I wasn't able to tell just what that was. And I was trying to find out the status and where we go next.
Okay, thank you. Planning Manager Tourleteau, did I say that right? Can you address that question real quickly, since you put together a very nice summary for us?
Yeah, sure, thank you. Excuse me. So, and for all of you, my last name is Turtlelow, so the turtles are low. Hopefully that helps in the future. Yes, I'm happy to give you an update. That is actually, Mr. Schumacher, that is an agenda item this evening. So if you're willing to hang on, it is our last agenda item with lots of information for the Planning Commission to begin the conversation. And if they feel it's appropriate to move forward, it will be discussed further in June, hopefully go to City Council in July, and further discussion in August. So if you're willing to hang in there with us this evening, we're going to discuss it tonight.
Okay, thanks, Kate. All right.
Mr. Shoemaker, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, not at this point. I'm just with that August timeline, I'm just going to be curious to see what that really means for when I can start doing things. So.
All right, next item, we have minutes to approve from 2 meetings in April. First up is minutes from April 11th. Commissioners, do you have any comments or changes you'd like made? Would someone care to move approval of the April 11th minutes, please?
I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
I second.
Thank you. Commissioners, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next up, meetings from April 25th. Comments, additions, questions? Okay.
I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
I second.
Thanks very much. Commissioners in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Next item, we have a public hearing. Public hearing is amending chapter 14.0 MMC flood hazard area regulations to incorporate the new community rating system, class 8 prerequisite. And at this point, I would like to open the public hearing. And then we have Senior Planner Monroe for a presentation.
Yes, I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I will bring up in just a moment. Just wanted to say happy birthday to Commissioner Lockhart and Commissioner Walker, and congratulations to Commissioner Miller, even though we're sad that you're leaving us. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to present, let me just bring it up real quick, actually. Can everyone see my presentation?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Maybe it would help if I shared my screen. So here we go. So everyone can see it now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm here tonight to present the public hearing for the floodplain regulations ordinance, proposed amendments to chapter 14.01 MMC, flood hazard area regulations. Floodplain regulations affects properties located in the special flood hazard area. Floodplains are beneficial to communities because they naturally store and convey floodwaters. The city is currently in good standing with the National Flood Insurance Program, or the NFIP. This code amendment is needed in order for the city to continue receiving the 25% discount on flood insurance premiums, and this needs to be adopted before August 9th of this year. This is a map showing the floodplains in the city. And as you can see, the colored areas show the properties. And what we're looking at in the city is mostly in the northwest area, adjacent to Lake Ty. We're looking at some properties commonly known as East Monroe and also the mobile home park. And then we're looking at Alborland Park, Sky River Park, and properties adjacent to the Skycomish River. So what we're talking about today, the code amendment, it affects the properties in these areas. The NFIP is a national program that offers affordable flood insurance and disaster assistance in flood-prone areas. Monroe has been an NFIP community since 1987, and also a Class 5, and has a Class 5 rating in the Community Rating System, or CRS, and has been a participant since 1991. A Class 5 rating allows the 25% discount on every FEMA flood insurance policy sold in the city. At our last meeting, there were some questions on what does flood insurance actually cover? So I'm going to exit out of this really quick just so I can pull up what I found, and then I can just kind of go through that with you. So I did some research and went to FEMA's website, and under the NFIP program information, there's a brochure that talks about the summary of coverage for flood insurance. So things that are covered under insurance are the building itself and its foundation, electrical systems, central air conditioning equipment, furnaces and water heaters, refrigerators, cooking stoves, and built-in appliances such as dishwashers, permanently installed carpeting over an unfinished floor, permanently installed paneling, wallboard, bookcases and cabinets, window blinds, and debris removal. There's also additional coverage that a resident can purchase, and this is a contents coverage. So this will cover personal belongings, curtains, portable and window air conditioners, portable microwave ovens, and portable dishwashers. Carpeting not included in building coverage, clothes washers and dryers, food freezers and the food in them, and certain valuable items such as artwork, furs, and jewelry. So what's not covered, some of the things not covered by flood insurance are additional living expenses such as temporary housing, vehicles and property and belongings outside of a building. So trees, plants, shrubs, wells, septic systems, walls, decks, patios, fences, seawalls, hot tubs, and swimming pools. So also under the NFIP policies, there is usually they include the increased cost of compliance or the ICC coverage. And so when we've been talking about this code amendment, we're talking about substantially damaged properties, right? So this type of coverage covers that. And if the damaged building qualifies for the ICC coverage, the policyholder could receive up to $30,000 to cover the cost to elevate the building, demolish, or relocate the home, the policy owner's home. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. And so of current flood insurance rate maps, or the FIRMs, were adopted by the city in 2020. FIRMs are the official maps on which FEMA has delineated special flood hazard areas and risk zones. The city is responsible for maintaining these maps, and they're available for viewing by the public at City Hall. Digital maps are also available on FEMA's website. So if you go to this link here and you just put in an address, you can find out or determine if the property you're looking at is actually in the floodplain. So on this next slide, so I apologize, I wasn't able to manipulate this map to make it larger for you to see, but I just wanted to get you an idea of what a FIRM map looks like. So what we're looking at here is I put in a property address that is adjacent to Lake Ty. And so it's kind of in that blue area that you see there. So if you're able to zoom in, obviously, on the website. So if you zoom into the map, you can see what zone it is. So this particular zone that I'm looking at is AE. And most properties in the city are either AE or Zone A, and these are FEMA flood zone designations. So the AE zone is a 100-year floodplain, so meaning there's a 1% annual chance of flooding. And also the base flood elevations are shown on the map. So under the A flood zone, it's also a 100-year floodplain, but no BFEs are shown on the map. So also you'll see there is some, it's kind of an orangish color shaded there. So these properties are outside of the special flood hazard area, but they are within the 500-year floodplain. So there's a 0.2% chance of flooding. The city's floodplain ordinance does not meet the new CRS Class 8 prerequisite found in the 2021 addendum to the 2017 CRS Coordinator's Manual. So I pulled the Class 8 requisites and I have it on the screen here. So I just wanted to focus on number 2. So number 2 states that the community must adopt and enforce at least a 1-foot freeboard requirement, including machinery or equipment, for all residential buildings constructed, substantially improved, and or reconstructed due to substantial damage throughout its SFHA or special flood hazard area. So there were some concerns about, what is this code change going to affect, what property? So we're only talking about new residential buildings, substantially improved and or reconstructed due to substantial damage. So existing properties, if they're not doing anything with the property at this point, they will not be required to meet this code change or requirement. So amendments to the floodplain regulations are under MM section 14.01.130 general standards. And so we're adding some language in there that's putting that requirement of a 1 foot or more above the base flood elevation requirement for mechanical equipment. It was not there before, so we're adding that. Also under the manufactured section, manufactured home section, we're adding the same requirement of the base flood elevation, 1 foot or more above the base flood elevation, and also adding that this includes all associated mechanical equipment. The city did not receive any public comments on this code amendment. And the recommended action for tonight is moved to direct staff to draft findings of fact and conclusions of law for the Planning Commission that recommend that the Monroe City Council approve the proposed amendments to Chapter 14.01 MMC Flood Hazard Area Regulations. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any additional questions? Oh, Commissioner Tuttle, please.
Thank you. So just again, for the record, I just want to have it on the record, Anita. We don't foresee any negative impact on any citizens in our community due to this change.
No, I
Update,
feel
I should say not change, update, sorry.
correct. I feel that if we don't adopt this code amendment, then it's a detriment to those property owners or residents, because then the flood insurance discount will go from 25% to 5%.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
And thanks for all your work on this and coming back a few times.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to public testimony portion. I'd like to get a motion to open the public testimony portion of the hearing.
I move to open the public testimony portion of the public hearing.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Commissioners in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public testimony portion of the hearing is now open. And Hannah, do you see any speakers that wish to speak on this topic? No.
Don't see any hands up.
Thank you. All right, well, I think we can accept a
sorry.
motion to close the public testimony portion.
I move to close the public testimony portion of the public hearing.
I
Second.
second.
Thank you, Commissioner Lockhart. Commissioners in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. So the public testimony portion is now closed. At this time, we take deliberation or comments from commissioners, if there are any. Commissioner Tuttle.
Thank you. I'll wait to see what other commissioners say, but I'm going to be in support of recommending going forward with this and making a recommendation to the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lockhart.
Yeah, I just want to stress, thank you for answering all the questions that we had along the way with this. I definitely see, obviously, it would be a huge impact if we did not move forward with these changes. So I just appreciate that the staff has made sure to inform us and answer all the questions that we had along the way.
Commissioner Walker.
Yeah, I would just echo what Commissioner Lockhart said. Another great example of city staff working on behalf of the citizens proactively as well, seeing this, and Anita obviously doing so much work to make sure that it gets done in time by the August deadline. It's very appreciated. I'm definitely going to be in support of it as well.
Okay, that's great. Commissioner Tuttle.
Thank you. Can Anita or Hannah put the motion up so that it can be read?
I can motion it. I have it up too.
Oh, good. Thank you. I
I
couldn't
have no
get
problem
it
doing
on
that.
my phone.
We have to close the public hearing first, though.
Commissioner Walker, did you have more thoughts for us?
No, my bad. I had a cramp in my hand.
That's what happens when you get a little older. Since it's your birthday today. Oh, okay, I'd like to, yeah, I would like to just stress
to Anita, we really appreciate you answering all our questions and then, getting back to us at, subsequent meetings to make sure every single question we had was answered, and we were really clear on what we're trying to accomplish. So we appreciate that. At this point, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Nugent. Commissioners in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public hearing is closed. So
And
at
I
this
can-
point,
Sorry, I was gonna say I can make the next motion if you want.
oh yeah, yes, ma'am,
Okay.
please, thank you.
I move to direct staff to draft findings of fact and conclusions of law recommending that the Monroe City Council approve the proposed amendments to chapter 14.01 MMC flood hazard area regulations.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you very much. Commissioners in favor to move this along, please say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay. Next item. New business item. Old business item. 6.1. Senior Planner Monroe.
Yes, so it's me again. So yes, I'm bringing back the proposed code amendments to chapter 22.12 MMC definitions. So I'm probably gonna need a little help from the planning commissioners that have been around for a while, because I know there's been quite a few meetings regarding this topic. And so I'm hoping that you'll remember where we left off. I'm going to just give a quick background so that the new planning commissioners know what we're talking about here. So yeah, I don't have a formal presentation. This is more of just a discussion, but yes, I do want to just give you a quick background. So back in 2020, let me just back up a little bit further for the newer planning commissioners. So we adopted our current unified development regulations back in 2019. So we provided some information in the agenda bill, but basically we were kind of on a time crunch. So we worked on this code for about 2 years, 2+ years, and it was a long process and got down to the wire. So when it was adopted and we started using the code in everyday work, we realized that some of the definitions were either missing or they didn't align to what was in the code. So we brought this back to the Planning Commission, and this consisted of about 180. So there's a total of 1,200 definitions in the code currently. So we brought back approximately 180 to update those. And so like I said before, there's numerous meetings about that. So in the process of getting this through of the code amendment process, an issue arose, and we had to take this to City Council for an interim emergency ordinance. So on September 14th, 2021, City Council passed ordinance number 008/2021, adopting interim emergency zoning amendments to chapter 22.12 MMC definitions. And then this was followed by a public hearing on October 26th. So unfortunately, because of staffing issues that we had some planners leaving, the interim emergency ordinance expired on March 14th, 2022. So we had to bring this back to council. So basically it's the same ordinance that was adopted in 2021. We had to take it back to council. So staff did that. And council passed the new ordinance number 014/2022 on May 10th, 2022. So what we're doing now is we're bringing this back to the Planning Commission. So a couple questions that I'll have for you, but I also wanted to mention I did include a proposed schedule. So I do have this on the Planning Commission agenda for at least 3 discussion meetings. We can have more, we can have less. We'll just kind of see how it goes. And then we have a tentative public hearing scheduled for July 11th. So the last meeting that we had on these definitions, on this code amendment for the definitions, was on November 8th, 2021. So my question to the group is, does anyone want to shed some light on where you left off? 2, are there sections you want to revisit? And then 3, is there something that you remember that we needed to discuss further? And then one other thing before we can discuss this is that there are a couple changes that we need to do. So we need to add 12 definitions that are mandated by the state. So those are also in your agenda, Bill, but I'll just kind of read them off real quick. So those definitions that we need to add in our current code is affordable housing, emergency housing, emergency shelter, enhanced service facility, family, household, low income household, moderate income household, extremely low income household, very low income household, owner and short-term rental. Also, we need to remove all the wireless communication definitions because we just passed ordinance 008/2022. And what that essentially did was put all the wireless communication definitions into that particular chapter. So we just need to take those out. So those are the 2 small changes from what you've already been working on in the past. So, and then also if you look in the agenda packet, all the requested changes are in gray. So that kind of makes it easier for you to look for the 180 definitions that we're looking at. So I just wanted to turn it over to the Planning Commission at this point if anyone wanted to just shed some light on where you guys left off. Or maybe you don't remember, but I don't know.
Well, I thought we were pretty well done. Commissioner Tuttle?
Yeah, we were, what generally happened was Shanna was doing them. And so she would work on sections and then bring us sections. And then sometimes we would make a few changes to one section, but she would move on to a new section as well. And so there wasn't, I think Commissioner Bull or Chair Bull, sorry, is right that we were pretty much done. But I feel like, and if other commissioners disagree with me, totally fine. But I feel like a lot of times we gave input, but then we didn't necessarily know what, we didn't necessarily get to review the final thing after minor changes because it was such an overwhelming and big job. We were on a time crunch. We spent so much time on everything. So I wouldn't mind a quick review of some things.
Okay.
I think what you mentioned that needs to be done probably has a like a standard definition that is
Yes.
consistently among municipalities, but there's other things that we sort of call out, and honestly, it wouldn't be bad for everyone to get on the same page so that issues like entertainment or gyms or supermarkets or, you know, the difference between a daycare facility and a childcare center. I think those things, so everyone understands where we're at. And, you know, I don't want to waste our time either. And I know the staff time is valuable, but I think it's good for all of us to know what we're talking about and be on the same a level playing field, honestly. And it was so much I could use a review.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I don't, Commissioner Bull, do you, and Commissioner Nugent, I think you were,
I remember this
know
exact
it.
same thing that you're saying, actually. That's exactly what I remember. I'm sure Commissioner Miller probably remembers. She's shaking her head too, so that's exactly what I'm remembering of it too. I remember it being really overwhelming and
It was because
exactly.
every definition review, I printed out the document and I think it was 90 pages of definitions that we were to review. And it just got to be, because some of them were standard definitions, which we didn't necessarily have any input or changes to, but so Commissioner Tuttle, just
I
for
think
everybody
that's a great comment.
for everybody to know what our definitions are, we should probably get everybody the most current version we have. In the agenda packet, is there two versions, or I saw the item in there twice?
No, so the version that's in there that that's attached to the ordinance, that's our current code. There's a separate attachment that just has the definitions that we're looking at adding. So, but yeah, so the ordinance is, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same as our code basically right now. So is it fair to ask the Planning Commission if before our next meeting, if you would have time to just go through those and then maybe just pick out the ones that you'd want to have the discussion about? Because I could see how overwhelming it could be once again if we just do the section by section by section. And then because it does sound like you were pretty much already like Commissioner Tuttle and Chair Bull said, almost to the end of it anyways, to the discussion. So
Yes, so go ahead, Commissioner Tuttle.
Is there any way to highlight the ones that are a definition we created and separate them from a standard definition? Because we did get in the weeds on that a little bit before too, where we would say, oh, well, maybe this definition could be this way or that way. And then after a whole discussion, Shannon would finally be able to say, actually, we can't change that.
I
So,
see. Okay.
you know, that would consolidate the conversation if we knew exactly which ones are appropriate for us to even weigh in on.
Okay, I see. Okay. Yeah, I can go back to some old agenda bills to see, or minutes, to see if I can find that information.
So Commissioner, or Chairman Bull, my understanding is the definitions that are in your packet, that includes all the strike through and edits that Shannon had put together for you. So this should be the complete document.
Okay.
If there's something in here that doesn't look like what you remember having a conversation on, that's what we really need the input in, because going through all of her materials, you have it. It's the high, I don't know how well this camera works, but the gray highlighted shaded, that's the new stuff that she was bringing to you, or the revision. So you actually have it in your packet tonight.
Okay. So Anita, what would you like the commissioners to look at before the next meeting to make your job easier?
It would be helpful if you could just go through the definitions that are in the agenda bill packet, and then if there's some pressing definition or something that doesn't make sense, yes, let's discuss it.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to have you approve something if you don't feel comfortable, obviously. So if we could start off by doing that for the next meeting, and then if there's still questions on, you know, can this be changed, can this not be changed, I can definitely research that more too.
Okay, thank you. So would it be helpful if individual commissioners emailed you directly with their thoughts? Or do you want us to gather all of our questions and thoughts and just all commissioners present them next meeting?
Whichever you think is easier. I'm fine with if we just wanted to discuss it at the next meeting. You don't necessarily need to email me beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Walker.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Anita, did you say the ones that are in gray are the 180 terms?
Correct, correct.
And then
Those
what
are,
does it mean when they're underlined?
I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking,
So I can answer that.
oh, okay.
Planning manager Turlo. The underlined were the new definition. So you'll see both strike through and underline. The underline is new information. And then the gray highlighted was something changed in the definition. So it should be easy to go through and see the gray shaded. And you'll see either strike through or underline two, strike through, something had to be removed.
Awesome, thank you.
You're
Commissioner,
welcome.
oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Blair.
Yeah, this attachment is 216 pages. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around what all pages I need to print. So you had kind of touched on it, that there's a full ordinance in here, and then it looks like it's page 11 through 180, but that still sounds too big if you said it was around, the document says it's 80 pages, but I guess if we could get, I just want this thing that I need to look at and not looking at two versions. So if I could get a clean copy of just what to look at, that would be helpful to me.
okay, perfect. So yeah, why don't I just, and everyone receives their city email, correct? I can just email you what you're looking at, so it reduces the pages a little bit. I'll kind of take it out of there, out of the whole agenda bill, if that works for everyone.
That works great.
Okay.
Good point, Commissioner Blair. There's actually a copy or paper shortage, so we don't want to be making matters worse by printing off extra pages.
Okay. So anything else that you would like me to bring to the next meeting as far as any information or research or anything else?
I think we have everything we need.
Okay.
Just
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
get this wrapped up so we don't have any more emergencies, right? Commissioner Tuttle?
Actually, since you mentioned it, Anita, if some of our definitions are, I know there's a lot of people in the planning department that have experience in other jurisdictions. If there's some definitions in there that seem like they're odd and maybe other places you've worked or seen have them defined better or differently even, but this seems more concise or clear or whatever, let's lean into your experience on staff and
Okay.
for some suggestions too, because we obviously don't know everything. I've only been on one city's planning commission, so that's my only perspective. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
no problem. Thank you. And that's all I have on this topic today. Was I'm not asking, there's no action for the planning commission. I just wanted to discuss this so we can move forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. Okay. We'll move on to new business. We have from the Public Works Department, item 7.1, adoption of the 2019 Stormwater Management Manual for Western Washington.
Looks like. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry. This is my first time calling commission. So thank you, commissioners, for having me here this evening. My name is Jordan Otto. I'm the operations manager in Public Works. I'm joined by my colleague Megan Darrow, who is our surface water program analyst. And we are proposing to amend sections of the Monroe Municipal Code, specifically 22-58020, 22-58040, and 23-40010, to be updated to reference the 2019 Stormwater Management Manual, which would be replacing the 2014 manual. The manual is the city's technical reference and maintenance standard guide addressing measures necessary to control stormwater runoff from development, redevelopment, and construction projects sites. within the city's current NPDS permit, it is required that our city code reference the most current edition of the stormwater management manual within our code to remain in compliance with the Department of Ecology. By not adopting the current manual, the city would be out of compliance with the Department of Ecology and risks the possibility of legal action by third-party environmental groups. So our requested action is twofold. We're asking that the planning commission deliberate on the proposed code amendment, and then also to combine the public hearing meeting and the finding of fact meeting during the June 6th planning commission meeting. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to address those now.
Commissioners, any questions? Okay. No questions at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a requested action, Hannah?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not tonight.
Okay,
Not tonight. Thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, this is planning manager Turlo. So, excuse me, this is already on your agenda for public hearing, your first meeting in June. And as Jordan explained, they are requesting a combined public hearing and then for the planning commission to actually adopt the findings of fact. So that'll be included in your packet for conversation at your next meeting.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. So we'll move on to item 7.2. Review the draft 2022 Planning Commission Program of Work.
Thank you, Chairman Bull. Again, this is Kate Turlo. And so as mentioned, and with the definitions, you've had some staffing changes since the end of last year. And we learned that you're supposed to adopt a program of work each year. So after the last meeting, when City Administrator Deborah Knight was with us, she showed us where to find these. And so I'm bringing forward to you this evening a proposed agenda, and this really goes over the items that had been previously identified. And then it includes all of the code amendments that we've been discussing since my arrival in March. And so if you're happy with this, the next step would be to recommend it go to City Council. But I figured you'd want to have a conversation. So I also have this identified for your next meeting in June. And this is really to start the conversation and introduce the various items that have been slated for your work in 2022.
Thanks, Kate. Commissioners, would you like to offer your thoughts on our calendar here? Kate, this will allow us to hit all of our deadlines, will it?
I sure hope so. You will notice that the comprehensive plan has a 2-year time frame. We are required by state law to adopt it by the end of next year, or excuse me, December of 2024. It's the third item down on your proposal. We will be bringing you a lot more details. Our contract was just signed with the consultant team. Planning director or community development director Bailey is setting up a few meetings, internal meetings, for us to come up with a game plan on how we're going to break it apart, how we're going to have our public outreach strategy. And so this one, you'll get a lot more information as we go forward this year.
Okay. Commissioner Blair.
Regarding that, will there be like an amended work program for just the comprehensive plan? Or how will that look to will it look similar to this? Since that's one of our main projects, I just expected this to have more details about that already. And so I just wanted clarification on how that will look presented to us eventually.
Sure, I would not be bringing it back on the calendar. I will be, it will be coming to you on its own schedule, program, deadlines, public hearings. So it will be a more comprehensive beyond just this kind of cheat sheet of the top items that we're trying to accomplish.
Does that help, Commissioner Blair? Okay, perfect. So Kate, there will be, the comprehensive plan will have its own kind of subsidiary calendar that we track that particular item with.
That is correct.
Okay. Commissioner Tuttle?
Thank you. Turtle. Did I say it right?
You did.
Turtle. Thanks, Kate. Hey, I'm sure you already looked at this because I think you're really organized. But if there's anything in the when the question was asked, will it facilitate us meeting all of our deadlines and you said I sure hope so. Is there anything on there that will result in fines, fees, loss of funding, inability to apply for grants and those kinds of things that maybe could, be pushed to the front of the work plan so that we don't jeopardize anything financially?
Sure. There's only 2 items. Actually, there's a total of 3 items that have a constrained, 4 items that have a constrained timeline. You just had a public hearing on the first one, and that was amending our floodplain regulations. You'll be holding a public hearing on the second one at your first meeting in June with the stormwater the 2019 stormwater manual. The next one with a time constraint, you also had an introduction tonight, and that's the definitions. That emergency ordinance expires in November. And then the final one with the actual deadline is the 2024 comprehensive plan. The rest of them are not time constrained. Other than I would say the last item on tonight's agenda about the downtown commercial, there was a specific impact to a business owner, but from a regulatory standpoint, the rest of these items are not constrained.
Great, thank you so much. And I would just also point out that we have the ability to add extra meetings if we need to, and that is part of our responsibility to meeting a timeline. Is sometimes we got to do a little extra work, so we should all be prepared for that. The end.
So if you're okay with the list, then I will prepare an agenda item to move it forward to the council. Is there agreement?
I think everybody nodded their head. Commissioner Tuttle, which way was your head going?
It was going yes, but I wanted to ask, was there pushing this forward to the council, then is there a possibility they will say, no, we want you to work on something first and have it come back, or do we already get some input from them?
This will be their initial review of it. So
Okay.
there is a slim potential, but I'm optimistic that they'll accept it as is.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Whoops. Hit the wrong button.
Okay. Great. Thanks for getting that to us, Kate. Very helpful. Next item is new business, item 7.3. And this, Kate talked about this a little earlier in the meeting after the comment from Mr. Shoemaker. So this is introduction for possible code amendments to Monroe Municipal Code section 22.22.050 land use in downtown commercial zoning district.
Okay, so in your packets this evening, I gave you a very brief history of the downtown commercial zone. It began with the actual adoption of the downtown master plan, which was followed by a code amendment establishing the different uses in the downtown zone, and that created four different neighborhoods. This is back in 2000, oh my goodness, 2009, so it was a while ago. And at that time, the different neighborhoods were Rails and Roads, Downtown Neighborhood, Historic Main Area, and Borland Park. After that, there were additional amendments, changes made back in 2017, and that created really the current collection of neighborhoods. So it's now the Downtown Promenade, which is primarily Main Street, a small section of Lewis, the East Monroe, which used to be Borland Park, Historic Main, which is the area generally on the north and south side of the promenade, and then the neighborhood areas, which are a small section to the west and then the southwest corner. And so I provided for you also kind of how the different uses have changed over time. And I really, because the conversation was around the entertainment uses, that's what I provided for you. Probably should have also just sent you a copy of our current code of all the different uses. And then getting back to what Mr. Schumacher's original concern was, is that when the plan was adopted, when the zoning code was adopted, the purpose statement, it's not changed. And he's within the historic main neighborhood. And it clearly states in there that the historic main area will be a core area of specialty commercial uses that serve the entire community and even the region. The goal for this area is to continue to have high concentration of retail, dining, and entertainment functions while accommodating professional services and some residential housing. So near the back of your packet or the agenda bill is that specific section about the uses that are permitted today in entertainment uses that are permitted today in the residential historic main, East Downtown, and Promenade. And you'll notice that the uses are not included in the historic main or the promenade neighborhoods. And so the conversation that we are hoping to have with you this evening is, would you reconsider putting some of those uses back into the historic main and potentially the promenade? One other thing I wanted to point out this evening when I was just reviewing the different neighborhoods, I would also like to note that there might be an inconsistency that you may be aware of, or my understanding, just talking with Commissioner Tuttle, is that there could have been some misunderstandings. And so this is why I want to bring this one to your attention as well. In the downtown promenade, the last sentence says, only a commercial land use shall occupy the ground floor in the downtown promenade, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I want to bring this to your attention, because that would not allow restaurants, the bakery, the taverns, the tasting rooms. And so since we're having this discussion this evening already, I wanted to bring that to your attention. And so I'd like to hear your input, and especially from the commissioners who are around, who've seen the change. What is your recollection? Do you have any other guidance or memory of the conversation? It'd be helpful for me as well.
Commissioner Tuttle, would you like to start?
Sure, shocking, I know, but I just want to get this out before we keep going. So regarding entertainment, I do believe this is something that got mixed up in our definitions conversations, and it was one of those things that kind of went back and forth, maybe didn't come back for a review. But the concern regarding entertainment was certain kinds of entertainment. And we had a big conversation about a theater, like a movie theater, being defined as entertainment. And so what we had done, and Commissioner Bull, I'm sure you remember, and you can correct or add to my recollection, is there were things like, will we allow grocery stores? And so we said, well, we wouldn't mind having like a farmer's market or a small Trader Joe's kind of thing in certain areas, not in the promenade, but and so what Shanna was doing was going back and making two definitions for certain uses, like a small version use and a large version use, which was commonly referred to as a center. So we had hardware stores, grocery stores. We didn't want to see a Galaxy Theater type of thing come and buy up 4 city blocks when our downtown is so small. But what I'm thinking is that the entertainment was supposed to have been divided into smaller versions and bigger versions, because at the end of the day, the comment that was consistently made that we always brought the uses back to was, is it pedestrian drawing? And will it result in those stores in the downstairs Main Street facing specifically on the promenade having lights on and open for business on the daily? So one thing that came up was someone wanted to open an escape room, and that was considered a entertainment use. It came to us, but the problem with that was it's a by appointment only type of use. And so we didn't change our definitions to accommodate that type of thing, because again, for everyone, for the businesses to thrive, and this also came from the Economic Development Advisory Board, for the businesses to thrive, people need to be open. We can't have, half of each block closed because it's a service business or whatever. So that was the goal. That was the intent. What ended up being put into code or becoming a policy may reflect the letter of the thing more than the spirit of the thing. And so that's where we were at. Now, we probably need to have another conversation about housing in light of some of the housing shortage that we have. But at the time, the picture for downtown was restaurants and retail and an arcade and, all kinds of things that would bring people downtown to walk around and enjoy the ambience of our community. And then the services being allowed upstairs, counseling centers, maybe apartments or housing if those exist there. I'm not sure what that looks like right now. We did change the height limit at some point because I think we envisioned more housing in the downtown. Also, bringing pedestrians into the community, people who lived in the areas around and might walk downtown for food and that kind of thing. So that was the intention at the time. I'm 100% not saying things may not evolve from then till now, and that we shouldn't have more conversation about it. But that's why I think the inconsistency happened. I think it got lost in whoever, I think it was Commissioner Blair said 180 pages of definitions. You can see where that would be really hard to manage. And the fact that we wrote a narrative, but then the other things are letters in boxes on a spreadsheet. It's very easy to, there was a lot of cutting and pasting going on. So I just want to put that out there as a kind of the baseline for how we talk about this, because I am 100% in support of that the arcade style, the entertainment, the restaurants, the retail, the bars, all of that stuff being part of our downtown community. And when we created the promenade, that was meant to facilitate that, not exclude that. So that's what I have at this moment. And then Chair Bull was there too, so I'm sure he has some other version of memory as well.
Well, actually, I mean, we spent a lot of time on the matrices which, Kate did a great job of summarizing kind of a history of this. But when we look at her summary of our final matrix, and art galleries are permitted in the residential, but not in historic Maine or the promenade, I don't know how we got there, because art galleries, would facilitate foot traffic downtown. You know what I mean? So it looks like, it looks confusing to me, because things are not in the place that I would expect them based on our intent.
Well,
Can you-
that was also because part of that residential downtown, if you remember, we had to have a conversation about the Keg and Q area, because that's technically in the residential. So we didn't want to create zoning that would make places like Keg and Q be legal non-conforming.
Non-conforming.
Yeah, so that they couldn't change their signage or refence their, it was a very meticulous conversation, but I think that's how we ended up with the residential kind of thing too, because there are existing businesses that are technically within the lines of some of that residential area.
I understand, but we have made things non-conforming before. What I'm saying is, how did it get left out of historic Maine? I don't think that was ever our intent, to not have something like a art gallery not in historic Maine or the promenade, right?
I agree 100%.
So that's just a for example.
Yeah.
So I think, we have, newer commissioners. So we're going to have to end up looking at our matrices all over again, and documenting, why they are the way they are. Right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Would it be helpful? I'm just trying to help, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in here. Would it be helpful for me to provide you with the entire use matrix for the downtown zone, so you can look at what everything is approved today? Would that be helpful? Okay, I see nodding there.
I think Kate, that would be the easiest thing to find inconsistencies, because, the commissioners that helped with that could either justify why it was done or say, no, that wasn't our intent. And then we go to the next item. Does that sound okay?
Oh, totally. That's a great way to proceed. The other thing I just wanted to bring your attention to is, after that last matrix, I added in all of the new definitions that were developed specifically for this conversation, which you'll be seeing with the information that Anita presented. It's duplicated here, so you can see where those definitions went, which I'm hoping is what you had asked Shanna to put together.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Lockhart?
Yeah, I'm sure it's in here in this packet somewhere, but I just kind of have the spread in front of me. So for concessions, what does the A mean rather than the P?
Sure, I'm so sorry. I should have explained that first. P means a permitted use. C means a conditional use, so you have to get a conditional use permit. A means accessory. So if you have a park and you have a concession stand, it is accessory to the park. If it's blank, it is a prohibited use. It's not allowed.
Okay. And like for concessions, that would include things like food trucks, right?
Food trucks actually come in their own, they're actually in other sections of our code as a line item. So if that's something, hold on here, let me look really quickly. I feel like they are a permitted use. Mobile vendors are a permitted use today in the historic Maine, East Downtown, and the Promenade for the downtown commercial zoning districts. So I will definitely give you the entire use matrix for the downtown zone. It will help with the conversation.
Okay, because I know that obviously we have this conversation because Mr. Shoemaker has come to several of our meetings. So that's kind of been a highlight of some of the things we want moving forward. But I also know that we've got some food truck owners or even some folks that are trying to get a food truck started that may have some other barriers that we can look at and consider as well. So since we're having these conversations, it would just be beneficial to also not overlook those as we're moving forward as well.
Thanks, Commissioner Lockhart. Commissioner Blair?
Yeah, I was just hoping that if we could get that rest of the information that Kate was mentioning and sent to us, and we could look at it as homework before our next meeting so we can have some things to discuss. I feel like it would help move this along a little bit faster.
Happy to do, thank you.
Commissioner Walker?
Thank you. Kate, do you have any ideas on what we can do to keep Mr. Shoemaker's request moving along?
You're doing it. I mean, honestly, unless we make the entertainment use, putting it back into the historic main, he's a legal non-conforming. He has no ability to expand his building or his business. So this conversation, and if you, it sounds like the commission is interested in me drafting a code amendment, that's how we help him.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioners, any other comments on this particular item?
So I'm sorry, one more follow-up question. If we were to go the code amendment route, it appears that it would have to be a pretty broad code amendment.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I agree with the comments that have been made. Since you're looking at this already, you should look at the entire use matrix, but I already have a preliminary schedule put together. I
Awesome.
don't think it's going to take you very long to come to an agreement, to have the conversation at your next meeting or next two meetings. I do believe this, if this is the direction you want to go in, I believe this could be done to the city council and adopted by the end of the summer, early fall. That's government working fast, believe it or not.
Okay, sounds like we're doing everything we need to. All right, we will. Thanks, Kate. Appreciate you putting that summary together for us.
My pleasure.
Next item is discussion by commissioners and staff. And I'm going to start with one of the birthday people, Commissioner Walker.
I have got nothing to update on, unless I can't remember if the fire versus police softball game happened between our last meeting and now. It feels like it's been forever since our last meeting. So yeah, I think that was after our last meeting. Attended that with my family. It was really cool to see the community come out and just, again, always love seeing those fields get so much use. It's just awesome. Yeah, loving the weather. I love seeing the ground was broken on the sign, the new sign coming on 522 by Tester. Really looking forward to seeing that go up. Other than that, I've got no new business ideas or anything like that. But yeah, Dion, I do want to say again, we appreciate you and we'll miss you a lot. And Commissioner Lockhart, happy birthday as well.
Commissioner Lockhart.
Just thank you to staff for getting all this information prepped for us. I know we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I like that everything seems organized. We've got a path forward, and I do believe Mr. Shoemaker is still in the audience. So I know that when it involves your business and your livelihood, that waiting isn't easy, but hopefully you can see we are moving forward. It's not always a quick process, but we're getting there. And so I know I appreciate Mr. Shoemaker and any other attendees who are here and listening in on these meetings and bringing concerns and stuff to our attention. My kiddos, my two older kiddos are in Little League, so we've been getting good use on at least the non-rainy days of the fields and stuff. It has been especially rainy spring because we've had a lot of rain postponements, but we've also had a lot of makeup games since the sun has come out. So we've utilized the Lake Tie fields and then obviously the Sky River fields where most of the Little League games happen. So that's been fun this spring. And yeah, and happy birthday, Commissioner Walker.
Thanks very much. Commissioner Blair.
Hi, I went to the Parks Board meeting the other night. They have a lot of little projects moving forward. Some of the same stuff we had talked about, North Hill Park, just making sure that people are getting enough open space and places to spend their time, like you guys were all mentioning. It's a big part of people's life around here. It seemed that was enjoyable to listen in on what they have going on. I don't really have anything else for tonight. Thanks.
Commissioner Blair, are they still seeking additional park board members from the community, or have they filled the spots that they were looking to fill?
They had one new member that night that was starting. When I was on the website this last week, they still had it posted. I don't know if that was still active or just on accident, hadn't gotten pulled off yet. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Nugent.
Thank you. Happy birthday to our commissioners with birthdays today. And Commissioner Miller, it's been a pleasure serving with you and our time together. We started together, and so thanks for your time. And city staff, thanks for all your hard work on everything we've been working on lately and all the work you guys do. EDAB had a tourism meeting and talking about all the various things we're trying to promote for the city and the parks and river and all that fun stuff. And yeah, the rainy season definitely killed high school tennis and many matches. So yeah, hasn't been a very active season, but excuse me, that's about all I got. Survived COVID. Thank you. That's why I was kind of glad we didn't have our last commissioners meeting. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Good job surviving. Commissioner Tuttle.
Thank you. I have had some interactions. Oh, happy birthday to the birthday twins. Don't want to miss that. I have had some good interactions with a lot of the new staff, and I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I know it's hard to be in a new position, but also having a lot of new people around you and a lot of changes in positioning is, you know, it takes a little while to gel, and I think you guys are all doing a really great job. I want to make a comment. I was hoping Deb was going to be on the call and could maybe show pictures, because I don't know if everybody saw the pictures, but sorry, Margot. I did want to comment that the signs, the economic development, no, sorry, she got hyper. The Economic Development Advisory Board spent a lot of time working with the consulting team on the sign, and I wanted to say that we spent a lot of consideration on everything, the serifs on the fonts. It was originally presented with certain materials, and we wanted river rock to honor the river, and more like train track metal, or metal on there to honor the trains. And we put a lot of thought and personalization, I would say, for Monroe into that. And I really look forward to seeing the rest of the wayfinding that's coming. It's like a really multi-phased big project, everything from highway signs, but these gateways are really exciting to see them coming. And the mountains in the the background that are honored on there too. So that's been fun to watch. And yes, I think, Liz, we were at the same, we're both on tourism, right? Our subcommittee meeting last Thursday. We're looking at rebranding from the Adventure Starts Here motif to kind of focusing in a more authentic direction. And so that'll be interesting and fun to talk about. But otherwise, I know the farmers markets are starting up here pretty quick. So spread the word. Those have gotten bigger and better every single year. The chamber's done a great job with that. And, you know, it's a weird year for the businesses around financially and with just the increased costs for labor and materials and material shortages and all of that. So remember to support local and plug your favorite community businesses. And that's all I can think of.
Good plug for local businesses. Nice job, Commissioner. So,
Mute.
okay. Commissioner Miller, we could use 2 more like you, not 1 less of you. So sad to see you go.
Thanks. And I just kind of wanted to echo thank you to all of my fellow commissioners and our staff. It's been 2.5 great years, and I have learned so incredibly much that I'm like, okay, what am I going to do in my new town? So thank you again for all of the support and everything. And that's kind of all I got. Commissioner Blair is all over the Parks Department. She'll be happy to, or I'm pretty sure she's happy sitting in on the meetings. And yeah.
That's great.
And Commissioner Nugent, it was great being a newbie with you.
Okay.
So
Enjoyed going back home. My kid was a Gonzaga kid, so we love Spokane. Okay, we'll start with staff. Anita?
I don't have any updates tonight, just that we've been pretty busy still in planning, had a lot of pre-application meetings for businesses and residential. So hopefully some of those projects will come through soon.
Okay. Thanks. And we'll get back to our second meeting of the month, looking at the community development newsletter, will we?
Yeah, we apologize. It just, your agenda was so full this evening. We were concerned that if we added that, it would extend it, but you were extremely efficient, so we should have added it in. It will be in your next packet.
Okay. Thank you very much. Planning Manager Turtellow.
I don't have anything else for you other than I love the fact that I have other May babies in the room. My birthday's tomorrow, so go May birthdays. That's it. Well, you are going to have a pretty busy summer into fall with the schedule. So hopefully you hang in there with us, and we'll do our best if we need to do if we need to move meetings around. I'm hopeful that we'll continue to have a quorum. So thank you all for your hard work tonight. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of this year working with you and moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we're especially appreciative of staff. Commissioner Walker.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just remembered something. Do we have a rough date for our next meeting?
Yeah, it's the second Monday in June. So second and fourth Monday of every month, we will be having meetings probably for the rest of this year.
Okay, gotcha. So is that okay? So like the 13th in June. I'm bad with my dates, I think. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Commissioner Chair Bowl, please give us an update.
I don't have an update, but I did get pictures sent to me from a member of the community of the signs. And I just wanted to say how thankful I am to everybody that put in a little bit of time and effort to get those designed and fabricated. Just really appreciate some new signage, some to kind of liven up the town. So thank you. Hannah, do you have anything for us before we leave?
I do. Can you guys hear me all the way over here? So, as you can see, staff is in chambers tonight. This is sort of our trial run for hybrid meetings, and it's actually happening this time. So our next meeting will be hybrid. There is an ordinance that's going to be going to council, I think tomorrow, to amend the code. That would basically allow us to do hybrid. If council doesn't adopt that ordinance, then we would have to be in person. So you guys wouldn't have the option between Zoom and chambers. And that would be through the entire month of June. So we're hoping that hybrid will be the thing that we are gonna do. Otherwise, yeah, either way, we're gonna be here.
Okay, so tell me what that means if we have a fairly full summer and we have commissioners that were planning on joining us from their vacation destination for the 2 hours, second and fourth Monday. We're relying on the city council to approve that so that can happen and we can have a quorum. Is that true?
Yes, so Governor Inslee's proclamation for remote public meetings is being rescinded as of June 1st. So we are essentially trying to get council to allow us to have hybrid meetings, if I'm understanding it correctly. But I will let you guys know as soon as I have an answer. If they, for whatever reason, the ordinance doesn't go forward, it would only be until June 22nd, I believe, would be the next time that we would be able to bring it to council.
I'd like to add to that, it is our understanding that council would like to maintain the hybrid model because it really allows citizens to participate easier than coming to a council chamber at 7 o'clock in the evenings. It would also help with the facilitation with people being on vacation. So I do not anticipate them not approving it. This is the one thing that's come out of COVID is adjusting to this hybrid where you can call in, you can watch a video later instead of coming in person. It's just made it more open to the citizens. And so again, I don't anticipate the council not adopting that resolution.
Okay, that's very encouraging. Okay,
That's it for me.
thank you, Hannah. Would someone care to make a motion for adjournment if we don't have any other thoughts?
I'm gonna say one more thing, and that's thank you, Commissioner Miller, for your service to this community, and I hope your move is smooth and all that. And with that, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Tuttle. All commissioners in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
See you in a
you,
couple
thank you,
weeks.
Commissioner Miller.
Enjoy your long weekend.
And happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Happy birthday.